AfriKili family and Global Pack Nation, welcome to another edition of the Global Pack Show presented by Tony Mfumunsimba. Elon Reeves Musk, the one and only, is from Africa. You know that. Well, it is often said that geography will define or influence ideology. You've also heard that we are a product of our environment. So is all that applicable to Elon Musk, who, according to many accounts and many observations, seems to be veering more and more towards extreme political positions and becoming a very divisive figure in not only American politics, but in world politics. So, in our discussion today, we'll take a look backwards at Elon Musk's background, how his upbringing in Africa might have influenced who he has become today, but also how his environment with his father might have also played a role in the sort of political ideology that he seems to be advancing today. So there you have it. That will be the subject for our discussion today. Let's fasten our seatbelt, let's dive in, and let's get to work. All right, guys, AfriKili family, Global Pack Nation, thank you and welcome once again to today's show. Very excited, as usual, to be once again in front of you today on this Thursday, February 20th, 2025. Before getting started, let me thank every single one of you who are supporting this channel since we began this new format, this new live show, now going in a bit over a month. Thank you very much for all the support, tuning in, sharing and viewing and so on. Really appreciate that. And for those of you who have not yet joined this community, let me just take a second and ask you to please click that subscribe button. Only takes a second. But by doing so, you become part of this community, you become part of the conversation, and you help us grow as the platform grows. And I have no doubt that in 2025, with you, we will reach all of our goals. But I understand that without you, we cannot do it. So please take the time to click on the subscribe button, and thank you for continuing to support this platform. And also check out our website, www.afrikili.com. All right, before jumping into our subject for today, let me just actually take a quick moment to remember two individuals. First one, unfortunately, Suleiman Cisse, who is an African movie producer, passed away at the age of 84. He is very, very instrumental when it comes to the movie industry in Africa, but also the world. He has been named the father of African film. Very instrumental person. So he is from the country of Mali in West Africa. He passed away in the capital city of Bamako in Mali. Throughout his life, he has accomplished a lot. As I said, he has won many awards. One of his most popular movie is Yelin, which means the light, and he's won at the Cannes Festival, for example, the Carrosse d'Or, which is a prize that's awarded to revolutionaries. So the African movie scene, the black movie scene, but also just the world movie industry has just lost a giant, Suleiman Cisse. So may his soul rest in peace. The second person I want to remember today is none other than Malcolm X, or Malcolm Little, born Malcolm Little, who later became El Shabazz Malcolm X, who tomorrow the 21st will be 60 years since he was assassinated, February 21st, 1965. But since tomorrow we will not have an English live, I just wanted to do it one day ahead of time, and also it's Black History Month, so it is worth commemorating and remembering Malcolm X, such an instrumental individual in the fight for racial equality, justice, a prominent figure who unfortunately, as I said, was assassinated. So has he been alive today? He would have been approaching his 80 years on this earth. So let's remember Malcolm X today. His assassination, until now, we still do not know who was behind his assassination. A lot of information has transpired recently. Some people are pushing for President Donald J. Trump to also declassify his files, which we do not know if will happen. Some people say maybe the CIA or the FBI might have been involved in a way. There's a lot of speculation, but be that as it may, let's remember a great giant, a great figure, Malcolm X, on this day. All right, that being said, let's jump straight into our subject. The subject I want to talk today is Elon Musk, because obviously Elon Musk is a person of influence, right? I mean, in the US government, that goes without saying. He's somebody who is from the African continent, so very relevant to the global PAC, to our global PAC community as a whole. And also the decisions that he's making have an impact in the global PAC. Raising, aid that actually directly also impact his homeland, South Africa, which is one of the reasons why I decided to analyze this situation and just dedicate this show to that specific topic. Because here's somebody, again, from Africa, so you would think that, okay, somebody comes from the continent, he has risen to the highest echelon of the political apparatus of the most powerful country in the world, the United States of America. So how can he make decisions that bring so much pain in his country of origin, but also his continent of origin? I know he left the continent when he was 17 years old to go to Canada. Last week, we spoke at length about South Africa, the land issues, and so on. But nevertheless, he's from that continent. So how is that possible? Can somebody be so detached? So that prompted me to bring this topic to you. So this discussion, I believe, is once again very relevant to the global PAC, the global Pan-African community, or our global Pan-African coalitions, because as you know, this show, the global PAC, has as a mission to build coalitions, strong coalitions, and build bridges across the global Pan-African diaspora by connecting people in the diaspora, people on the continent, and in just different places around the world, Caribbean, the Americas, you name it. And so we do it by trying to inform you, trying to inspire you, but also just educate. So those are the focuses of this show. So yeah, so this topic falls right in line with what this show is all about. So to do that, I thought we would. I'm going to divide this in a couple parts. First, let's look at Elon Musk's father. All right, Errol Musk. I believe in order to understand who Elon Musk is and why he is espousing the political positions that he seems to espouse, it might be relevant to understand who his father was and the influence that his father had, or maybe continues to have, on Elon Musk. That might indicate why he's taking some of the political stances that he has. So his father, called Errol Musk. Errol Musk is spelled E-R-R-O-L. So Errol Musk. So he's South African, born in Pretoria. So the interesting thing, and by the way, I will focus my discussion on Errol Musk, on his political views, and try to stay away from the personal side. There's a lot on the internet. There's a lot of articles that have been written. There's so much information about the fraught relationship between Elon Musk and his father. There's things about family, marriages here and there. I will steer away from that. This conversation is about Elon Musk political views, because we're trying to get to who Elon Musk is, politically speaking. So Elon Musk was born in Pretoria, as I said. So he's somebody who really witnessed a very dramatic transformation of the country, because he's somebody who was born who saw the country go from apartheid to democracy, which is a very dramatic shift. Apartheid, as again we discussed last week, apartheid, which is a word in Afrikaans, the language spoken by the descendants of colonizers in South Africa, from the Netherlands, England, France, Germany, you name it. So apartheid means separation. So essentially, it's a system of segregation. It was severe racial segregation. So Errol Musk witnessed a transformation from that system into democracy because apartheid was eliminated in 1994. It's now well known when Nelson Mandela came out of jail after 27 years, the end of apartheid, and then he ended up being the first black president of South Africa and so on. But anyhow, so all that transformation, Errol Musk witnessed that firsthand. So you must say that must have had a certain view of a certain influence on his views about politics. So if we look at the things that Errol Musk has been saying in terms of politics and so, well, he's somebody who is often very vocal, all right, in his skepticism and just criticizing the efficiency of African government, South African and Africa in general. He typically takes positions about that. Now, let's note that he was a political figure briefly, because in the 80s he ran for election as part of a progressive party. So his party was anti-apartheid. So that's one thing. I mean, Errol Musk is an anti-apartheid person. He's spoken at length about his opposition to apartheid, and so his party was an anti-apartheid party. So that's important to note, even as we discuss Elon Musk a little later. So Errol Musk, in this sense, he criticizes the lack of efficiency. He often criticizes what he calls poor leadership and poor policy decisions when he discusses the political climate in South Africa. So he's very, very critical about the state of affairs in South African politics and African politics in general. So you can imagine him holding those views, obviously, as Elon Musk was growing. So his father was a figure, again, very outspoken and critical about the country, and also was, again, an anti-apartheid person. Even though when Elon Musk was growing up, apartheid was still, the system. And so now there's sometimes Elon Musk is also perceived as a controversial figure when he discusses apartheid. Because on one end, he's anti-apartheid. The party he was with was anti-apartheid. However, often he sounds a bit nostalgic because when he talks about apartheid, he has said multiple times that he misses the stability that apartheid brought into the country's landscape, the stability as opposed to the chaos and the corruption that is today perceived in the country. So those views seem like a paradox to many, and sometimes he's accused of being nostalgic about apartheid because people contend that it does not matter if there is stability. That system was wrong to begin with, so you cannot espouse anything positive about apartheid. But again, he's somebody who has acknowledged several times and has says that apartheid is a despicable system and a very unjust system. So he was somebody who was very wealthy. So Elon Musk grew up in a lot of wealth from his father. His father owned rights to emerald mines in Zambia, for example. It has been said that Elon Musk would go to school in Rolls Royces and so on and so forth. So he was somebody who was very, very wealthy. All right, Elon Musk grew up going to private schools that his father obviously paid for. So he was a wealthy person, but he was also very technology driven. I keep saying still is, because he is still alive, by the way. Elon Musk's father is still alive. So he is very technology inclined, and he actually is a big believer in Africa's future by investing more in innovation and technology. From his education background, he's an engineer, an electromechanical engineer. So he's very obviously tech-minded and data-minded. So that is the kind of mindset that Errol Musk has. And so, as I say, often he suggested that Africa although Africa has a lot of potential, Africa is lagging behind because of the corruption and mismanagement, which is a view I tend to agree with. But he also says that by investing more in science, engineering, and entrepreneurship, then Africa could unlock its full potential. So he really, really uh, holds that view that technology can play a very significant role in advancing not only the world, but Africa. I think we can see some parallels with his son, Elon Musk, by having those views. And maybe one last thing about Errol Musk is that uh, he likes to say that Africa really could improve the standards of living of all its population with the reasons that I mentioned before. But he also says, but he's a pro and free market type of person. He says, Africa should encourage business friendly policies, reduce bureaucratic red tape, and foster innovation. So these are the views that Errol Musk is known for and what he usually advances. So when we talk about Elon Musk and the influence of his surrounding, because once again, we are the product of our environment, right? There's that whole debate about nature versus nurture, in psychology and so on. But you cannot ignore that nurture, so the environment obviously plays a big role. And so this person is who Elon Musk was influenced with growing up. Even though today Elon Musk and his father have a very complicated and a strange relationship, which is, there's a lot of stuff written out there again. But nevertheless, you can see how these sort of views might have influenced or have influenced Elon Musk's political alignments and his view. All right, so now let's move on from that and let's talk about Elon Musk himself, and let's maybe discuss how beyond his father, how does the country itself, how did the what he experienced in South Africa influence who he is today? Talking about Elon Musk, of course, because the reality is he has really undergone a pretty significant political transformation, right? He used to be known for the longest as more of a centrist. And I mean, undoubtedly, he has shifted more and more towards the right, really aligning with right-wing policies. So, why is that? But let's look at his past, and maybe we'll understand why that is. All right. So, Elon Musk, born in South Africa. By the way, I was trying to find the link here, see if I can maybe put an image on the screen. If not, okay. So if you go on the YouTube channel, right, our YouTube channel, you will see what we posted, what we posted last week, and that may help you, may help get more details. Because last week we talked about the land issue in South Africa, about how Donald Trump signed an executive order, really punishing or cutting all the aid towards South Africa because he said there's some racist policies coming out of South Africa. And we talked at length about how Elon Musk and the PayPal mafia from South Africa really were the ones speaking in Donald Trump's ears and influencing those policies. So I was trying to put the thumbnail on the screen. I wasn't able to do it here. But if you're interested in that, I'm just telling you, you can go on the YouTube channel and look up the show from last week, and you will see the show about the South African mafia. So Peter Thiel, Botha, Elon Musk, how they influence Donald Trump. All right, so let's look at Elon Musk himself. All right, so essentially, Elon Musk, born in South Africa, grew up in the capital city, Pretoria. It is interesting to note that Elon Musk was born in apartheid, right? And so apartheid ended in 1994, as I said before, but Elon Musk left before the end of apartheid because he left South Africa in 1989. So his upbringing was within that system of segregation and injustice. Deeply, deeply segregated nation. where the white population in South Africa was holding everything, land, power, all the economic levers was held by white South Africans. So that was Elon Musk upbringing. The private school he went to, exclusively white, later became a bit, started allowing some black kids to go in and so on. But again, that was his upbringing. So that really exposed him from a very young age to a very unequal system. And Elon Musk has often said that experience, that those are his words. He's often said that experience of the an unequal and rigid system is really what prompted him to constantly question authority and to promote technology as a way to challenge the status quo. So he might be seen today as an extreme technologist, but he's saying it is because of that upbringing. Because in that environment that Elon Musk grew up into, South Africa was also very isolated, was becoming increasingly isolated from the world, not having a lot of information available. And Elon Musk was an avid reader. All right. So his view, he was able to escape that reality by diving into books, reading about different stories, and being interested in technology. So that is where that interest came from. Another thing he often mentions is that he was severely bullied as a child. I mean, those are his own words, and so that, in a sense, he says also helped him develop a resilient type of nature, and constantly seeking to overcome. So he mentioned that as a personal experience. I'm bringing it up because him himself has talked about it. So, all right. So, very unequal environment, right? A constrained environment, an environment in which technology is not readily available. So, the harsh realities of that African politics. So, all of that is what has molded and really shaped Elon Musk. So, drawing a parallel now between that. So this is the geography part. Remember when I started, I talked about how geography influences ideology, right? So here, his geography being South Africa. I also talked about how the environment, how we are a product of our environment. So the environment being not only the country, but also his father, his family, his surrounding. So if we draw a parallel between his father's political views and what Elon Musk went through, we can understand that more than somebody who might be seen as a racist. I think he is rather an extreme pragmatist. Because I mean, the stuff you went through. I mean, unless you were a staunch believer in white supremacy, those could really shake your soul, right, and really revolt you. And if I see how his father seemed to have been so anti-apartheid, I can somehow also see how Elon Musk would also be, in a way, anti-apartheid. That's the environment in which he grew, right? And so you have things like, for example, very violent episodes in South Africa, beyond just apartheid. But for example, you have the 1985 state of emergency, where the government just started cracking down on people like Steve Biko and others, and killed a lot of South Africa. The police, it was very visible. Images shared where you just see the police harassing and killing folks. So that violent experience, coupled with the desire to really get away from that and never experience that, could help explain why Elon Musk again is so determined on really minimizing the impact of government. Those are his political views today. He believes the government should have as little power as possible. And free speech to the extreme. like really, really to the extreme. Even though some people are saying, when you look at his platform X, he's saying that free speech should be unabashed, but then he is blocking a lot of people. Some people are not being put forward, but nevertheless, you can see that he is. Those are the values he really believes in, like extreme free speech. Even when it goes against some values, because you have a lot of racist stuff and abusive stuff being propagating on X, but those are the views that he believes in again, and I can see how that was that was shaped and influenced by his upbringing. His hatred for bureaucracy, which is another one. Um, we look at what the Dodge, the Department of Government Efficiency is trying to do. The Dodge Bros really coming in with the mandate of just slashing the bureaucracy, slashing government spending. I mean, really, when you look at that, like extreme desire and determination to do that, I'm really making the connection here with his upbringing. Again, the geography and the environment. Even though the means by which he does it sometimes is pretty interesting and even funny. I mean, you have people like what's the guy's name at Doge? There was this young kid, 19-year-old. I'm forgetting the name. With the nickname Big Balls. This 19-year-old kid who is now a senior advisor within at Doge, but also an advisor with the Department of Homeland Security, State Department. So the means by which Elon Musk is going about it is a bit strange sometimes, but nevertheless, you can see behind how he's just somebody who just has this very narrow mind on what the government should and should not be, and wants to eliminate as much of the government as possible and just let free innovation reign. That it is view. I do not espouse the same sentiment, but I'm just trying to understand here and discuss where his views may come. So all that upbringing lasted until he was about 17 years old, because when he was 17 is when Elon Musk decided to relocate to Canada, and he was able to go to Canada because his mother is of Canadian descent. In last week's show, we also discussed how Elon Musk's maternal grandparents were actually fascists who fled from Canada to South Africa. They fled from Canada because they had a fascist party, Technocrat Incorporated, that wanted to eliminate democracy in Canada and the US. And so the party was banned, and his maternal grandparents relocated to South Africa. And so, anyways, it is through that Canadian lineage that he was able to obtain a passport and then go to Canada. He did not want to be conscripted in the army in South Africa because it was mandatory at the time, where every white young man after secondary and so on would have been conscripted into the South African Defense Force to suppress apartheid. That was one of the main things that the Defense Force was doing. And so he saw that he had no future into that and did not want to be part of it. At least that's what he says. And then he decided to relocate to Canada, obtain his visa, went to Canada, began studying in Ontario, and I think 2 years later transferred to the United States to University of Pennsylvania, Wharton School, which happens to also be the school where Donald J. also graduated from, University of Pennsylvania. So I guess they share the same school. Their alumni is from the same school, which is another relationship here. So so that's how Elon Musk ended up being in Canada and fleeing the apartheid. So I wanted this show to last 30 minutes, and we seems to be right on there. This is an ongoing conversation, but let me just try to conclude here. So I would conclude by saying, yes, I mean, it is obvious that Elon Musk African upbringing, in a sense, gave him a unique perspective on how by using technology to the extreme can help overcome systemic challenges. That is his approach. He's very systemic when it comes to the role of technologies. He just sees technology as the ultimate, the ultimate answer, which kind of reminds me when Steve Bannon, right, President Trump's former advisor, was clashing with Elon Musk at the beginning of the current Trump's presidency. There's some commentary that Steve Bannon said that were interesting. He's saying, no, Elon Musk does not understand. Elon Musk just views the world as a technologist, with very cold numbers and does not understand necessarily the human pain. I'm paraphrasing here, but his point was that Elon Musk prioritizing of technology detaches him from sometimes the human side, and so the decisions that he make, he'll just see the numbers and data and just overlooking all the human connection and the human emotion and human pain that it might cause, which in a sense is true when you consider, even just look at South Africa. Again, he took the decisions he's taking to just slash and freeze and so on is causing real pain. If it was a different country, also I would understand, but his own country of origin, where his dad still is, South Africa, there's reports coming out all the time, and I'm sure he has access to that, seeing how AIDS patients are no longer getting the services that they need, how suffering is being created by all this decision. But I guess when you're only focused on numbers, you tend to overlook a lot of this. So Elon Musk, I believe, he's from Africa. Some people accuse him of being a racist because of some of the positions that he's taking. Some people accuse him of being an extreme right wing person. Although his father says no, he's just a pragmatic. His father also believes that. His father say no. If he no longer supports the Democrats, for example, because initially when he used to be known as a centrist, he would support both the Democrat and the Republican. Right, he would donate to both, and then he stopped doing so and just focused exclusively on donating to the Republican Party. Well, his father was explaining that no, it has nothing to do with him becoming a right-wing extremist. Sometimes there might be some vindication, because, for example, in 2020 or 2021, there was an event on electric vehicles that Joe Biden invited, big EV makers, and Tesla did not go to that event. So it could be some vindication there where that prompted Elon Musk to switch allegiances. I do not know, even though some people say no, the reason he was not invited had to do more with unions, because at Tesla's anti-union. Elon Musk did not want to have any unions, whereas the other, like the United Auto Workers, for example, the big union, attended that event, and so that might be why Elon Musk was not invited. Nevertheless, he shifted his allegiances to the right, and according to his father, it's not that he's a right-wing extremist. He's a pragmatist. So we could say he's an extreme pragmatist as opposed to a right-wing extremist. That might help understand why Elon Musk, again, he is who he is today, why he's taking some of the decisions that he is taking, how he sees technology as the ultimate answer to all of these problems, and how he just looks at numbers and takes emotionally cold and detached decision because he just looks at numbers and projections based on that. I will end up this show for today. Well, let me know. Let me know what you think about this conversation. My angle of looking at Elon Musk geography in Africa and his environment, how that influences ideology. Do you agree? Do you disagree on that influence? Let me know. Share your comments. Let us know what you think, and so we can continue the discussion. On that note, let me conclude our show with a quote. As you know, now this has become part of our culture, part of our tradition. Before ending the show, I bring you a quote that hopefully will motivate you, will inspire you to go forward. And so the quote here is from none other than Malcolm X. Since we're in Black History Month, and I also said in the beginning that tomorrow will be the anniversary of Malcolm X's assassination, since he was assassinated on February 21st, 1965. So, in honor of Malcolm X, let me read his quote. So, the quote here says, I am for truth no matter who tells it. I am for justice no matter who it is for or against. I am a human being first and foremost. And as such, I am for whoever and whatever benefits humanity as a whole. I really love this quote. I find it very, very uplifting and encouraging. Many times I think Malcolm X is misunderstood. He is classified as an extremist to many people. But if you've read the autobiography of Malcolm X, which I have, you've also just read about him, you understand that, yeah, his views evolved over time, but he ended up being somebody who, beyond everything, just wanted what was best for Black people, but for humanity as a whole. And so this quote is very representative of that. I really like the way it ends, which says, I am for whoever and whatever benefits humanity as a whole. Malcolm Little, El Shabazz, Malcolm X. This is where I will end the show for today. AfriKili family and Global Pack Nation, let me remind you, if you want to join the conversation, please take the time to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Only takes a second for you to become part of this community, this platform, help this platform grow so that together we can achieve the goals we've set forth for 2025 and beyond. Thank you very much. And as I'm concluding, let me remind you, we are beautiful people. We are strong and special people. Never let anybody convince you otherwise. And more importantly, we are the Global Pack. So until next time, thank you very much. Peace be with you. Asante sana, which means thank you in Swahili. And once again, we are the Global Pack.